few. Every year there's a
What's the difference
few.
between cicada and locust? You're talking about
Locusts,
cicadas?
they eat.
You talking about cicadas or locusts?
Cicadas, the one that make the noises at night. You know,
Those are
sometimes
common,
it's a
though,
tweak,
right?
and sometimes it's a.
You're talking about the 13 or 14-year one, the swarms.
Yeah, well, but it's still
They're
the
the
same.
same
It's
thing?
still the
Yeah,
same
all year
bug.
long.
But yeah, they come
I
out
haven't heard one in
in
a
massive
while.
swarms every like 14
They
years.
were
or
just
so.
down. They were just down somewhere. They just came out. A ton of them.
I know, but I didn't see
Two
a
or
ton
three,
of them.
2 and 3 months ago. I didn't either. I didn't even
Yeah.
hear any.
It's been years since I've seen a ton of them.
I got to move into the
But-
country, man.
But when I saw a ton
This
of them,
Asheville place is just killing me.
no, they were falling out of the trees. They were falling out of the trees,
It's
Randy.
every 17 years.
Every 17.
Thank you.
Different regions will have, it's not all around the world 17 years, like different regions, whenever they nested.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure if there's a little bit every now and then. Like, I think those are different bugs.
Are they the same thing
It
as
might be a same
They're relatives,
genius, right?
Yeah.
Different
Right.
species kind of thing. But when those things come out, it is a nightmare, man. They are crazy.
I'd love to record that and do some pans.
Hear them chop.
They're digital. They're digital bugs.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not digital.
They are digital bugs. Oh, here, I have another story to tell. I have a story to tell. It's similar to the digital. They are digital bugs. You listen to them. You ever just tap into the lines that are running into your hard drive and stuff and run them into a speaker and listen to them?
No.
Then you listen to some you listen to some
high-speed Morse code.
you just listen to some cicadas and they're doing the same thing. They are particularly.
Porpoises and dolphins do the same thing too.
Yeah, right. Okay,
of clicks.
there's a lot of animals out there talking, and we in our what is it that we think we're so
Black
good.
box?
That we think we're so good in this. Anyway, that we think we're so smart. We say, well, animals can't talk. Well, the thing is, those animals are out there talking all the time, and it's like we're not listening.
They're
We
on a
just
higher level than we are.
just because we don't understand
me.
their language, we think that they don't talk. Okay, so I'm listening the other day. Okay, I'm sitting out and I'm listening to the birds. Okay. And after a while, I heard there was a rainstorm coming, and I heard some thunder, way off in the distance, and all the birds got quiet.
Uh-huh.
And one of the birds said, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" And then this other bird goes, "Yeah." I did, and. I'm not making this up, don't you? And I'm thinking, wow, the birds are talking.
Oh. How long did you think about that for? Did it take you a while to think about that?
No.
Did it happen immediately?
Yeah.
Okay, now this is one of the best shows you have ever put on. Thank you. Lasers, digital bugs.
I got good guests. I know.
Great. I'm making sure that I'm supervising you guys because
Oh, did you have
the three of you together without supervision could.
well,
Hey, are those bums out of Studio A yet or
How
not?
much time we got? We got a little
Are
time,
they?
time left.
Then you could rig us up a roll, couldn't you? We still got another hour and a
Roll
half.
of what? What are we getting a roll of? I gotta take a break.
You gotta take a break. You gotta go smoke one.
Tea.
Oh yeah. All right. Boy, it's just you and I now. We gotta be entertaining.
You
It's
did
fun
pretty good
when
by
it starts
yourself the
laughing.
other day.
Huh?
You did pretty good by yourself the other day. You were
Yeah.
like this.
I know.
I thought you were gonna cry.
And I said, please,
Everybody's left.
please, come
I was
on.
waiting for him. He comes in. He's got his board, his faders. You clean him out, and then he doesn't even give a plug. And it's 4:30, and he bolts, and you're still setting up.
Uh-huh.
And then
That's true.
I guess Kurt was here earlier.
Uh-huh.
And they all left.
If he could have just waited till I got all my junk together and everything, then I could have really focused on his board and all much better. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But until I get the
wash the
the
dishes.
tea at least steeping, I can't relax. You know what I mean? And focus on something.
And the camera's on him by himself, and he's sitting there, and not a plug comes out of him.
Uh-huh.
He's just sitting there, and you hear him going, laughing at the faders, and then he had
All
that
he's thinking
magazine.
about is the faders.
Yeah, and he didn't even, he was all by himself on TV, and all he had to do was just say, watch Wallpaper Project, 11:30 p.m.,
on Friday
and check
nights.
out the internet at www.thewallpaperproject.com, but he couldn't even do that.
Are y'all running clips from the wallpaper part? Are y'all streaming it?
We only got little bits and pieces here and there. Nothing. Yeah, I got a couple of things up on YouTube. In fact, one of mine was I gave Phil Spector co-production rights.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wasn't that nice of me? I just didn't want to get put away. And Yoko,
yes.
or some Yoko facilitator, had put a link through whenever you pull up this one little clip of mine that links to Yoko.
Yoko's cool.
Yoko/ono.com.
Yoko's cool.
Yoko's very cool.
She's cool.
I met her many times in Boston.
Oh, did you?
And I remember even way back that John and Yoko used to wait till a little after midnight to go to a laundromat on Newbury Street in Boston.
To the laundromat?
To do the laundromat. She had relatives in New Hampshire, and Paul had some kind of a small house or something in Cape Cod. And, of course, you had James Taylor and Carly Simon when they were together. They were in Cape Cod.
Yeah, often.
So they all got together, and they all, Yoko still has relatives up that way and things like that. And so, they loved Boston. It was as close to New York and Liverpool as they could get. It was very similar to them, and the music scene was it was pretty happening, and so they liked all the art galleries, and it was a mini New York to them.
Yeah, that's what the first time I went to Boston. I'd been to New York, and the first time I went to Boston, I was like really blown away because it was like, and in some ways it was a similar. It was a big city, but it was clean.
Yes, and it's all
it was clean. New York is not clean.
Yeah.
But this was this big city like New York, but it was clean up there. Yeah, and it didn't smell like urine.
Well, that was before the Big Dig.
Is that? Oh.
Well, I'm sure it's not. They found a lot of artifacts and whatnot, but I guess outsiders are still confused about how to get in and out of there now. And the tunnels are, they've gotten through all the tragic things that have happened, the collapses and things like that. But Boston's still a happening place. It's very beautiful and historic. There's a lot of all your Samuel Adams and all the Bunker Hill stuff and Constitution, Mayor Menino, all that stuff is and so similar to the way Asheville's heading, because Asheville right now is on the cusp of. Arts is just exploding here.
I know.
It's out of control.
Have you seen that?
And it's just
I don't know. I don't know if the rest of I don't know if the rest of the country knows it or not. But I've been here for a while now, and in and out of here for years. And Asheville has always been an artsy, craftsy scene and stuff like that. But nothing like has happened just in the last, at the most, 2 or 3 years. It has. By quantum leaps just in the last few years, not only in quantity but also in quality of particularly the music scene. But it's not restricted to the music scene by any means.
It's every media. It's a weird level. It's I don't know how to explain it, and it's getting concentrated.
Right. It may be the most concentrated spot in the nation, and the reason I say that is because Asheville is very small. But in many ways, I see as many happening things going on here as you're going to find in Greenwich Village and places like that are happening right nearly at the same level right here, but from a little town this size, it's incredible.
It is. And
so,
how to get the word out.
Well, I know. I don't know that anybody's really working at getting the word out. Everybody's just sort of doing it. But you go out and you just mingle about, and you wind up from one studio to the next, just seeing the most incredible art or hearing the most incredible band play and stuff. And it's just everybody's about it. Everybody's about it all over the town, and there's nowhere else probably in this country that's like that to the degree, to the concentration that we're seeing here.
It's like an untapped territory.
Yeah.
I think as far as a musician goes, you probably stop over here before you go to Nashville or Memphis, and you work it up. And then you get out there and you're already perfect when you get there. You don't have to beat the streets. You're already. And of course, you don't have to do things you had to do back in the years, back in the day to get record contracts. You can do it right there at home.
Right, you can run it off the internet.
You do it on the computer. You get it up there, and it's hit worldwide without even trying. It's the biggest audience you can possibly get. The world is so small now. You know, when you find out that your recordings can be in Legos in you know, as fast as it took you to upload,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that when we were kids.
No.
I mean, you know, you used to have to wait till somebody, you know, just distribution deals. Things would get watered down before you get to see what the original art piece was supposed to be, or the,
Right.
you know, the timeline of the way Sgt. Pepper came out the first time. And we never even heard the original until we heard bootlegs,
Mm-hmm.
you know, from beginning to end, and or even the White Album. I remember George Harrison had gone to Capitol Records way back, and he was in an outrage. They go through pains and injuries to make their piece from beginning to end exactly the way they want it,
Mm-hmm.
and it got out there, and they were remastering,
Right.
they were remixing, they were redoing
Mhm.
the artwork, and that was really one of the first times that an artist got to say, "Stop! Look, we've already done this. We spent years to make sure that we've gotten this far."
Mm-hmm.
Twice?
Many twice.
Many twice?
Many twice.
What are you working on besides wallpaper?
Oh, actually, I'm just working. I've got a lot of many things in the can. I'm actually working on a show that was supposed to finish about a year ago. There's this artist in Mars Hill. She does action, adventure, zodiac, I don't know what you call it, astrology kind of
Mm-hmm.
character figures.
Yeah.
And she's an author, and she's got some things in the works. And I had done a 3-parter on her back in the winter,
Mm-hmm.
and I just never really finished it because we got so many audio. Well, they're not audio problems because we recorded her in a gazebo outside in Mars Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So you have beautiful long hauler trucks going by and blurting out every word she's saying. I think it's beautiful the way it is, but she says, you can hear the truck more than you can hear me. But you know what? That's what happens when an artist wants to be interviewed outside.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just showing it the way it is.
Right.
So she wants me to play with levels and things like that. So
All
I'm
right.
working on it.
Maybe y'all can help me with a project I have in mind. Maybe you can clue me into people. I'm working on developing a new character, whose name is Johnny Ethanol. And Johnny Ethanol
The ethanol man?
huh?
He's the ethanol man?
Yeah, and Johnny is into anything ethanol. He needs to be a comic book character. See what I mean? He's a comic book character. Johnny Ethanol, sort of a left-handed superhero, if you will, of ecology and stuff. He's into ethanol fuel and things ecological, but he's into all things ethanol, including drinking a little bit. So being into all things ethanol, Johnny is always just a little high. You see, he's got a little buzz going all the time, and it's the adventures of Johnny Ethanol, and being always just a little, he's a real good-natured guy. He'd go along with anybody, especially if there's something to do involved with ethanol. He's there. Yeah, I'm down, So it's the adventures of Johnny Ethanol, the weird situations he finds himself in and what have you and all, and how then ethanol saves the day. They pour it in the tank and they get home or whatever, And
Right.
yeah, and I need, but I'm not an artist. I don't draw comic book characters.
Find some of the graffiti kids downtown.
Yeah. Well,
They do it.
I'm just putting that out in case you know
Right,
somebody
right.
who,
No, I
who
can't
would be
right
into
off the top of
that.
my head.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I thought you'd be into the concept, the Johnny Ethanol concept. Anyway, you all are concept guys. I've noticed that. You're big concept guys. So,
Paper here.
so that's my
What
new
about
character.
I only do one.
what about the veterans of foreign wars? Did you have they
Future wars.
Future wars.
That
What did I
is-
say? Foreign?
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It
VFW.
started with an F.
VFW, Veterans. They'll be playing next week.
No, is that
Or this
no?
Saturday. I guess they'll be in the studio Saturday here
What?
for Mount Dungeon. They'll be recording their Mount Dungeon show here Saturday, I believe.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Where else are they going to be playing somewhere in town?
No, did Veterans Day already happen?
Oh, I don't. Yeah,
Veterans
sometime
Day?
back.
Back in May?
Yeah.
Right. So the first time you had saw him, first time I met you, you showed me some footage of them, and you said, "Yeah, I recorded this thing."
Right. Right. Well, they're going to be on Mount
But
Dungeon.
you missed the second time that they played.
Yeah.
Where did they play?
Huh?
Did they play at Jolly Rouge again?
They did play at Jolly Rouge again. I believe they've played a couple of different places, and the last time they did the show was supposed to be at Jolly Rouge, and I understand it was pretty much a wash. It was just everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And it's part of their thing that they even say is come to the show expecting technical difficulties.
Right.
Cool.
That's part of their show. So
I got my mixer fixed.
okay, tell me about it.
Took me 4 hours to take it apart. That's when I brought you the pieces. That was last Thursday.
Right, you cleaned everything
And then
carefully and
last Saturday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I did a lot more research, and I had people tossing me back and forth between WD-40, whatever it used to be called, tuner control, and then brake cleaner. And I went back and forth, and they're, no, you can't use that. Could you? And people are screaming at me, no. So I end up, the last attempt that I could possibly do, I end up at Radio Shack. And I'm like, I have this tuner control. People are telling me to use WD-40. And the guy turns to me and he goes, look, I used to be an automotive mechanic before I came here. And I'll tell you the truth, you ought to go get yourself a can of WD-40 because it's cheaper, you get more, and just blast the hell out of the thing because it's penetrating grease.
Wash it out with WD-40. Okay, go ahead.
So I said, well, okay, that makes sense because that's what somebody else was telling me.
And then
so
lubricate it with
the
fancy stuff.
The auto parts store. And I get in line at the auto parts store, and the guy said, who's in line in front of me, says, you better let this guy go. All I was getting was some dialectic grease. And he said, better let him go. Mine's going to take a while. And I said, okay. So I step up, the guy behind the counter, and I said, I just came from Radio Shack. The guy told me to get WD-40. Do you know anything about this to clean out my mixer? And I still got my parts with me. I'm like, look, I'm going to do this with that and that and that. And he said, well, you lucked out because I used to do audio electronic stuff before I kind of came into the audio parts place. The guy who would let me go in front of him said, so did I. And now I got two guys at the automotive store leading me around the automotive
Hey, Randy,
store.
I've been thinking about you.
Have you been?
Howdy.
Well, isn't that amazing? Oh, you got your
I think there's a cup there.
museum might fix.
It's
Yeah,
not been
that
used. The
one-
one on
this
the
one's
end.
good.
Is that an unused?
Yeah, I think
The
that's
one on the
both-
end,
they're
I'm
both
pretty
okay.
sure is.
Yeah, I like this one here.
And this one, this stuff tastes pretty
Is that
good
the,
right now. I
smoke?
think. Yeah,
Is this a smoke tea? All right, good.
it might be steeped a little heavily, but.
That's all right. I like that smoke
Pretty
flavor. I tell
good.
you what, I was
Slightly
able to drink that without any cream in it last
Okay,
year.
now go ahead. Okay, now there you are.
So I end up,
You got all the electronic technicians in town are surrounding you at the auto parts
so
store.
they said, well, get yourself the tuner control. The guy at Radio Shack that used to be the automotive guy says, get WD-40. The guy at the auto parts place says, get me the tuner control from Radio Shack.
Okay.
And they're sending me back and forth. So I ended up getting a can of WD-40. So now I got tuner control, WD-40,
Right.
and alcohol. And
Right.
I sprayed the crap out of the terminals. I bent one of them with a hair off of a Q-tip, bent it back. Works fine. Sprayed it out, cleaned it off with alcohol, put the dialectic grease back in there. Good to go. I still haven't figured out the RCA ins and outs.
So
because-
did you clean it out with WD-40?
Yes.
Yeah, that cleans it out
Worked
good.
great. Yeah.
And they're not scratchy anymore, right?
And then I took it off with alcohol, and then I re-lubed the heck out of it with dialectic grease.
Exactly, and it's not scratchy anymore, is
There's
it?
nothing.
It
There's
should
nothing in
it
there.
should last for several years before you need to do it again.
Oh shit! It's gonna be 10 years before it.
Yeah.
You can watch the.
Oh yeah.
I heard that word come in earlier too.
Did you? I didn't know if that came
When
across.
somebody spilled some tea or put the tea in the wrong.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. And you said, "Oh no, they're gonna kick me off there." Shaving cream.
You could just keep your mouth shut about that. I was thinking though, there's
But we need it for the blooper reel.
there's
You're supposed to go shaving cream.
dun, 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 shaving cream. Okay. I was gonna tell you that if you came today, if you have something like a 12-foot S-video cable, is that something you have?
Sure do.
Do you have extras?
Don't have any extras.
Okay.
I have I have one 12-foot video cable,
Okay.
S video, and then I have four.
S video.
Yeah, S video. I have 4 50-foots.
I think you're.
I don't.
Larry.
Oh, it's done. Well, there's 1 hour. We've been here an hour.
I don't want 50 foots. But I think 12 foot. Here's what I've gotten. Here's what I have in mind.
What do you have in mind?
And, I want to, as soon as I'm allowed to use the switcher, I want to introduce the T-table cam. Here, I'll show you.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
You're logging a lot of hours on this station.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Randy, you're good. Oh, I don't. The show. Yeah. Yes, you were on the show with Don yesterday, weren't you? You haven't seen the playback of that show, have you? You need to watch yourself.
What? What am I doing?
And see, a lot of it is in your eyes. Mostly it's in your eyes. They tell everything.
And what am I telling?
And anything that you'll know what I'm talking about. When some of the other people make certain comments, you make a face, and you can tell.
Would be a good poker player, wouldn't I?
And actually, that would make a good show itself.
Now, some of it, you might have seen me doing was me trying to get my boys to do things. I was trying to produce the show, and for example, I'd be sitting there, and they'd have the camera on all of us, and somebody'd be talking, I'd be like, like that right there, and then finally I'd just point, and they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, switch, and they'd switch, and then I'd be like, or they'd have the camera on somebody, and the whole, somebody else would be talking. They get lackadaisical. They get the daydreaming. They sit back there.
You'll zone out doing a TV show.
Well, they sit back there, and next thing you know,
start watching it.
Like we set the box up over there, and so like Josh was running the switcher last night, and Randy was running this camera, and this camera over here was fixed. And so at some points I'd look over there, and Josh would have his head up against the wall, and he'd just be looking at the ceiling going. And he'd be doing his tongue like it, I'm thinking, what is he doing, And I'm like, hello, and the camera's on Don, and somebody else is talking, Here,
let me get up and get some.
So what was wrong with your PZM mic?
Well, I busted a wire off of it. I figured it was. Good, I went in there and sorted it back on. Let me get up and get my little camera and my little tripod, and I'll show you what I have in mind for the table cam.
Absolutely.
We should have a table.
Can I move over there?
Sure.
I like that chair a lot, but I don't like my back to it.
Okay. To the door.
I got a lot of enemies out there.
Do you? I doubt that.
I doubt it too, but
I doubt that somehow. No, there was 3 people I was thinking about. I'm one of them, and you're one of them, and I was trying to think. There's somebody else that are. I can't think who the other one was that are around here that are just pretty darn exceptional. But
maybe Ralph. I don't
know. Not that there's anything wrong with Ralph, but it wasn't Ralph. I just can't remember. I can't remember who it was now. But
sorry, Ralph.
We'll get it. We'll get it. I'll figure it out. And when I figure it out next time, I'll write it down.
Well, I think you're exceptional too.
Well, I know, but there's somebody else I'm thinking of that is just not the, and there's several, But now, what is that? Is that a Sony?
It's a Sony, the one and only. Yeah,
is it called a Handycam? It is.
Yeah, it's not so handy when you want something bigger.
Does it? Is it a digital tape?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same body as those guys, but.
Okay.
John, do you have a strobe light?
I don't believe I do. Then that's odd for me. But I'm at one of those points in my life that I don't have a strobe light.
Yeah.
I used to have a bunch of those from.
Do you have one, Larry?
Heath Kit and Radio Shack. No, I used to make all those kits. I don't have them anymore.
We used to build strobe lights and pump them up to be powerful.
There's still a company out there that sells those kits.
Heath Kit? Well, that's Zenith now, right?
I can't think of the name of them, but boy, they have every kit that. When I was a kid, there was not a kit you couldn't buy at Radio Shack.
I used to make my own radio. My own AM radio.
Yeah, I did too. AM, FM radios, transmitters. I'd have transmitters throughout the house and have my own little radio stations and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, one of the clips from Everybody Make Noise from our 3-part documentary from last year was actually recorded from one of those little things that I made. I had it repeating throughout the house And we used it, I was 12 years old, and we used it for our documentary just last year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Was it AM transmitter?
AM transmitter.
I know, I love those. I had one of those.
So you were 12 years old last
tubes
year?
or not? My first AM transmitter was
He just said he was 12 years old last year.
last year.
No, we used the documentary last year.
He said that I had something that was 12 years old last
Yeah,
year.
They did their documentary. They used it last year.
Yeah.
Time.
Well, he said that, yeah. That's the way he said it, though.
Well, I should have been.
He was 12 years old and he filmed a documentary last year.
That's right. And it's 13 this year, and he'll be 14 next year. You want to make sense?
Well, I turn 35 next Monday, so.
Do you?
Yeah.
Lord.
Hey, well, let me just clue you in, okay? It's all downhill from here.
Oh, it's been all downhill since I turned 30, I think.
Okay, so here's the deal. See, it's going to be the table cam.
Absolutely.
See what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And that way, see, so if I'm sitting here talking to you, well, we've got the front on. See, look at the shots that I get here. Everybody's always looking. See, I get a good front shot, but everybody else gets a side shot.
That's why you're the
They
head of the
get
table.
a side shot or even a back shot. If they turn looking at me, they're facing away from the camera. So now, see, I can just go right here and I can zoom in on you. See what I mean? And
Do you
and
got
it's gonna-
a,
it's-
do you got a
looking at you
splitter?
when they're
it's going to be the
talking.
table cam.
You can have it.
Exactly.
You can
Won't that be a good
It will be a
shot?
good shot.
How were you
And
guys
I'll-
switching it yesterday? You got a little box and you just.
Oh, that's Randini. Now he's
Oh, that-
got
you
the
were the
whole
switcher
gear.
one?
Yeah.
He's got all the
You got a
gear.
switch- do you got a live video switcher? With the, do you have levers and pins and? Oh.
And see, that's why I'd rather if I wish I just had the money and I could just buy what I wanted and sit in here and do my show, because
Well, you got one sitting right back there.
I know I'm not allowed to use it. I tried to use it earlier today. I said, "Can I use the thing?"
they
Well, no,
won't
it's
use
not. It's not been inventoried and checked in yet.
Why not?
No, why
They're
not?
busy around here, but are they that busy?
But I can't use it. And now I'm going.
We can help them
And
inventory.
I had this camera. I was ready to do.
Volunteer.
I'm ready
Yeah,
to
we
do.
can-
Volunteer.
We can
I
volunteer.
was ready to have the
In your face.
the video cam, the
nostril
table
cam.
the table cam, right?
We can start hanging them from here.
I'm
just point them
concerned
at
about
every
what
seat.
Jonathan said earlier, though, about putting the cameras way up there. I mean, I don't like a down shot.
No, they're not. Where are they going to be way up? I hadn't
I
heard
thought I
that.
heard him when he was.
He
in
said
front
no,
of me,
he
was gonna
said
make
putting
sure
them-
they were way
What's
up out of
wrong
the
with
way.
that?
No. We talked about putting them in the corner, out of the way,
Okay,
so
there
so
he
they
is,
wouldn't
right
be
there.
easily
So you're
broken
not gonna put
off.
them high. You're just gonna put them in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is to make sure that the shots are always on eye line. No one's
Yeah.
going to be in here standing up and just kind of looking down all the time to be kind of weird.
Right. That's
Right.
what I was thinking. Because when I heard you say that, I thought, well, he's gonna be putting them things way up there.
Right. Well,
You must not have had that light on earlier either, because it was very dark.
When I
in here.
first started the show, I
Yeah, it
had
was very dark.
at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So you don't need me all day.
Okay. You in a band or something? Or?
Oh, so yeah, you in a band or something, or what?
No, we do
You
the
some kind
wallpaper.
of street
we do the
pervert or what?
wallpaper project.
No, he looks like
Friday-
he looks
Friday
like a guitar player or a singer or something.
He's from the wall.
He's an artistic fellow. Now, I already signed one of those myself.
Good.
Okay.
Do I have to sign one?
No.
I already signed.
He's coming in here with paperwork. I'm getting nervous.
Right. All right, well, I'll leave now.
Have a spot of tea.
This is the
Come
only
on,
character
Joe.
I draw.
tea.
A spot of
This is the
tea.
only character I draw.
Have a
We were
spot
talking
of
about
tea.
Is that what's his name? Ollie.
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 Oh, he's on postage stamps and T-shirts.
Is he
Ollie.
Yeah, he is.
on postage stamps from
Yeah.
So you got
Zazzle.com.
to switch. You got to switch there.
Got that, and
Well, he could hire you.
I got a whole box.
He can
of
hire you
stuff.
to.
I can go live to hard drive, live to mini tape, live to DVD.
You can go live to hard drive.
Yeah, go live to hard drive. I can set it to be in high definition all the way down to so low of quality that you can fit 900 hours of video on it, but it looks horrible. I don't even know why that setting's on there.
I still don't know how to work your website very good.
I noticed you added a picture at least, though.
What's your website?
I did. I can't remember what I put a picture of.
You put a picture of the
Of me,
last.
probably.
No, not of the Last Supper. You put a picture of.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know what that is, do you? Do you know what it is? Say if you know what it is.
I'm trying to remember it now. I started to say it's the Last Supper, but it's not. It's.
And that's not Jesus in the picture.
No, I know that.
Okay.
I know that. It's. I can't
Is
picture
it
it
Andy
now.
Dick?
Excuse me.
Andy Dick.
Tell us what it is.
It's the school at Athens.
School of Athens, okay.
School at Athens, and that's Socrates.
Socrates, that's right,
And
that's right.
Socrates and
He's striking down the,
he's dying.
he's dying, yeah, he's being struck down, I guess, or dying. Or whatever.
Socrates is dying on the steps, and Aristotle is teaching, the one that looks like Jesus or something. One of those two is one is Aristotle and what have you. And it's all famous people from history.
So you put that up as your profile picture.
Oh, good. That's a good. I just think it's a good picture.
And you've got some other pictures up on the right-hand side.
Okay.
You and your outfit, your scientist's outfit, and some other pictures. But you still haven't added any music or anything.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how.
Well, all you do is press the upload button.
Well, I know, but before I can upload, I've got to download. I've got to put some music on something. I want to put video. I want to put videos up.
Oh, you want to put videos up? Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to put Can I take them right off of a DVD and put them right on to?
Well, you'll need to compress them somewhat, because I'd imagine while they're on the DVD, they're going to be more than 100 megabytes.
Big.
That's what.
Yeah,
It depends on how long they run.
Just compress them in Movie Maker or something. And
Movie Maker.
yeah, it's Windows Movie Maker.
Google Video will do it too. You can just download a free Google Video and compress them. Google's got its
MyLiveBands.com, is that what it is?
own software you can just download from Google to put it up.
Well, that's what I need then. I need some software that I can put on there.
Yeah.
Because it'll compress it more. It's just that it's got to be under the 100 megabytes to. Well, technically, you can upload 200 megabytes,
And
We're not supposed to know
but you're not supposed
can your videos go to full screen? They don't go full.
Yeah,
They do full screen. Okay.
to. They do full screen.
Oh, that's what it is. I have clicked full screen, but they
It's
go.
broke right now.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
working on it,
All
but
right,
it'll go
all right.
full screen. Trust
Okay.
me.
All right. Okay.
What's your name, man?
My name's Randy.
Randy and Michael.
Good to
Let me
meet
get
you.
your website.
You want me to write it down here?
You can write it down.
Sure.
Was it MyLiveBands.com?
Anywhere?
Is that
Yeah.
what it was?
Huh?
Was it MyLiveBands.com? Is it
No, this is my band.
That's it. Because I joined them the minute he started, the first day he plugged.
Right.
Before anything was actually official. It wasn't even finished yet, and I had already signed up.
And I've
Does it have
clicked on 3 or 4 of your advertisers. Now,
That's good, because that helps me out.
with your musician's friend, is that just a trade-off with them that you trade a space?
No,
with them?
they actually bought a space.
Okay, good.
They don't.
All right.
I don't get paid per click on that.
Okay, but
they
they've got a
actually bought
good
a
big
space.
band.
Yeah, they bought a space.
Okay.
Some of them on the right, most of them I get paid regardless of whether anybody clicks on them. But some of them on the right, I'm through a company called Ad Engage, and the more clicks I get, the higher my rate goes per 1,000. In other words, it starts out at like 5 cents per 1,000 I get, and if more people click on it, it'll go to 7 cents, and then 10 cents, and then and so on. And so it's not a lot of money, but it's helping offset some of the cost anyway.
John, we're gonna get out.
Thank you so much for
Pleasure
coming
being on
in
this show.
here. Y'all are great.
Nice to meet
Please
you.
come
Yeah,
back
nice to meet you too.
more often.
Good to meet you.
Glad
Good
to
to see you again. Yeah.
Wallpaper project.
So you guys do some
tomorrow
wallpaper
night,
project.
See, we already got a good review on the show.
And we can
Oh, yeah,
put. Can we give you guys shorts and stuff?
Sure, yeah.
For the wallpaper
Yeah,
project.
anything you want.
Cause I got a little one of my kids. It's a half a movie. I haven't finished the other half yet, but it'd be interesting. I was basically practicing with lightsabers and stuff, so it's got a lightsaber effect in it and things of that nature. So
Excellent, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's another thing
It's
that we
like
need
4
to say,
minutes.
and that is that if people have some video that a little short or something that they're wanting to view, and they don't have it together to get a series together or even to do a full size program, they need to contact the Wallpaper Project, and y'all will work it in.
Wallpaperproject.com.
Wallpaperproject.com.
You get
The
it.
Wallpaper.
Wallpaper project.
The Wallpaper Project. TheWallpaperProject.com.
and you're more than welcome to get you a profile. Go ahead and set up like a band, and that way you can upload some audios or videos too.
Yeah.
Are you, Ash? What is your video? What is your upload? This is my band.
Yeah, this is my band. Yeah, just do that and set up. Actually, you can set up a regular profile if you want to still upload videos. But if you want to upload audios, you'll have to set it up as a band. But you're more than welcome to do that and upload some stuff.
It's a good show today. I'm glad y'all came by. Oh, I'm always glad when y'all come by. So maybe you'll come more often.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tea's good, isn't it? You like
Oh, the tea was great.
you like to have a good. Here, kick that around so it points at me. I like that thing to blow on me. It's hot in here sometimes. And
That it is.
Okay, thanks a lot. See you
y'all
later.
come back.
See you guys later.
Thanks for coming. There you go. See, I can take this. I can take this camera out. I can take the video out of here, right there. Or I thought this camera had an S video on it. Am I wrong? Or did my other one have an S video on it? This has mic. This has a mic input on it. I like that. When they quit, did you know they quit putting mic inputs on some cameras? That was a surprise to me. I was like, what? I bought a camera and I got it home and there was no mic input on it. No, I know this is a battery. Yeah. Well, there's no S video output on this thing. I thought this had the S video on it, but it doesn't. But it's got that, so I can do the regular. You don't see any where to get S video out of this thing, do you?
No, I sure don't.
Okay. Well, forget about that S video cable I was asking you about. I'll just use the short ones. And then this one,
that looks a little bit. That's a Super 8, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an 8mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an 8. It's just 8.
Oh, just 8. Okay.
Just 8. Yeah, does just fine. It's a good little camera. Does all right. I throw high 8s in there. I throw whatever. I throw digital media and the digital 8. They make these 8mm digital cartridges for computers, and they run, I don't know, about 2.5 hours or something. They run a long time. They put a lot of tape on those things. I throw them in there and they make a great picture. and I buy a bunch of them at the Ham Fest for about $1 a piece, you know. Maybe 50 cents if I get going really good. I buy somebody's old tapes that they've got their books stored on from 2 years ago or something like that. Right. I just erase them and throw them in my video camera, and so I can do a lot of video. And I have a high 8 video VCR, so I can download them and stuff. And this of course has the
DVD in it.
Yeah, it's got little FireWire output on it, and it's also got the AV output on it. But I can come out of the FireWire on that and run it into like you see on the front of the DVD recorder over there. There's a FireWire on the front of the DVD recorder, and if you look back on the counter on the bench, the workbench back there, you'll see another DVD burner that has a FireWire on the front of it, just the same. So I can go in there and then come out of the S video or the composite or whatever I want. You see what I mean?
Yep, I see what you mean.
So we can do all that.
That's good tea.
Thank you. Is it so good it's not gotten too bitter?
No, it's getting a little cool though. It's cooling down a little bit.
It is. I bet it is. It's getting tepid, as they say.
Getting cooled down.
But should you reckon I ought to put on another pot of coffee?
Probably not. I don't know if you're
Make
gonna
it
have any more
hot.
gas or not.
Well,
this is about empty, I think. It is empty. That's gone.
my!
Yeah,
Well,
that's
then,
gone. And there's nothing in that one either.
Well, then you know what you have to do. You have to sit here and you can tell jokes or whatever you want to do. I kind of like it when it gets tepid myself. I don't care for it very hot.
Yeah, it's good tea.
But I'll go get. You can sit there and discuss something. I wish I could remember who the third person is that I was thinking about. We could start some kind of a club or something.
Yeah, I think I upset Don last night.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not, but
All right, no, really, because
I didn't mean to upset him though. I mean, you know.
I know, and I'm just watching because I'm gonna tell you, I hold you in very high regard because you look at things and you see, well, what is right and what is wrong, and you don't pull any punches for some weird reason or something. You say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know what I'm saying? And what's good for the president is good for the people, and vice versa, and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, but that's the way it is, and it's and that we need more of that kind of thinking, and I'm glad to see it. So if you happen to upset somebody a little bit along the way, just because you're being honest and stuff like that, don't don't let it get to you. Don't let it get to you, because frankly, some of the other people, I can't figure out why they say some of the things they do. Sometimes I think they ought to know better.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And befuddles me. But anyway, but I see that you just say what makes sense to you, whatever you can figure out. You know, and you see, I'm like that too. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't claim to be the smartest person in the world. I mean, if I had all the answers, I'd be the president.
Yeah,
You know,
but I
I'd run
don't
the
just go
president, but-
along with something just because somebody says it either. I say,
no,
does it
I mean,
make
I do
sense?
my own
Does
research
it feel
and-
right to me?
I do my own research, and does it make sense? And you know, and it's not always about the majority of the people. You know,
That's right.
it's you know, sometimes
It's
it
not
can
about
be
the majority of the people. It's not about who hollers the loudest
right.
either. You know.
Sometimes it can, you know, it's just about the good. You know, and I think that I just, you know, I don't know, some of these laws. I mean, I don't know how much of the show you watched last night, but one of the things I was talking about was how much taxpayers' money we waste on silly things, just silly things. You know, it's just silly stuff.
Well, I've got no use for a bunch of it. I've got what happened to me was when I started having heart attacks. You start putting things in different categories when you're young and stuff like that. You may debate a lot of things and stuff, you know, and all. But then when things happen in your life, you start distilling things down, and you quit debating a bunch of little issues, and you have less tolerance when you start realizing, well, this is a bunch of talk and a bunch of hooey. You know, you start, you know, I don't have time in my life for that.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
And if somebody's going to talk a bunch of stuff that may be partly right and partly wrong, I got no use for them. You see what I mean?
I see what you mean.
And so that happens to you. And so like I say, when you start having heart attacks and stuff like that in your life, you start looking at things like that. Then when somebody comes along and tries to kill you, and the cops side with them and stuff like that, you start looking at a whole lot of things that go on in a new light. You know, and all of a sudden it opens up. You know, I was being told by a friend of mine who was in town yesterday that there's a kind of enlightenment where the master teacher would sometimes